Howdy folks. Today I'm going to talk about how to graph linear functions and then also how to read the graph of a linear function. So usually when you're dealing with graphs of linear functions, at least on a basic level at the very beginning, you're usually asked to do one of two things, and that's either to draw a graph of a linear function or to look at a graph of a linear function and then write it as an equation. Okay, so I've already put a graph on. Well, here's a coordinate plane on the board, and I've already drawn a straight line here. And I'm going to show you how to identify or how to write down the equation of this graph. Now, usually you start off, in most cases, you write the equation of a line on a graph in slope-intercept form, okay, slope-intercept form, which is well known among a lot of people as y equals mx plus b form, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So really, you're just trying to get two numbers off of this graph, and then one of the numbers you're going to put here for m, and the other one you're going to put here for b. Now the b is really easy. The b is simply, b is the y-intercept, okay? Y-intercept is a fancy phrase for the number where the graph crosses over the y-axis. Well, this is the y-axis right here. Well, where does that line cross over the y-axis? Well, this is the origin right here. This is 0, 0. Okay, that's the origin. And if we count, so you're either going to count up from the origin along the y-axis, or you're going to count down from the origin along the y-axis. And really, whether you count up or count down depends on where the line is. You want to count toward the line. So from here, I'm going to count down, because from here, the line is down from the origin. And I'm going to count down. 1, 2. So the line crosses over the y-intercept at -2, right? Crosses over at -2. So that means that in this case, b is -2. So I'm actually, when I write it out, I'm going to put a -2 right here. Okay? Now, since you now know the y-intercept, usually this is a really good place to start to find the slope. The slope is the it's often referred to as the rate of change, okay, or often understood graphically as the rise over run. That means how far up or down, okay, how far up or down over how far forward. Okay, now you can do it backwards, but we normally do it forward. So we're going to go up or down, and then we're going to go forward. And basically what we're doing is we're trying to go to another place along the line. So here's what I do. This is the way I do it in my head, is I start at the y-intercept, and I follow the line until I get to a T intersection. See all these T intersections? There's a bunch of them on here, right? A whole bunch of places where the vertical line crosses the horizontal line. It's a T intersection. And I try to find the next place where there's a T intersection. So you'll see that the line here crosses over another line, but it's not crossing at a T intersection. So I'm going to keep going. Here it's crossing over another line, but not at a T intersection. So I'm going to keep going. Not a T intersection, not a T intersection, not a T intersection. But look right here. See that spot right there? The line is going right through a T intersection. So I'm going to put another dot right there, okay? And what I want to do is I want to go from this dot over to this dot, but I don't want to follow the line. I want to go up and over. See, I want to kind of create a triangle, okay? Up and over, up and over. Well, how far up am I going? 1, 2, 3. That's the rise. How far over? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the run. So I'm going 3 up and 4 over, so that is, so in this case, m is going to be 3 up, and when you go up, that's a positive number. So it's positive 3, and then I went over 4, so that means that the slope, the m, is 3 over 4, or 3/4. And so we can now put this m, we can put this 3/4 in for m, and we can put this -2 in for b, and the equation of this line is y equals 3/4 x minus 2, because we put a 3/4 in for m, mx, and then it would be plus b, but because it's a minus number, a negative number, it becomes minus 2. Okay, so looking at a graph, that's one way to write the equation of a line. Let's do another example. Okay, I'll leave that over there, but I'll erase b and I'll erase m here. Okay, and I'll erase this and I'll erase this, and we'll do another graph. We'll do this one in orange. And let's do this one like this. How about, let's do it maybe here. That'll do. Yeah, that'll do. Right there. That right there. That's the one I want. Okay. There we go. There's a nice line. Okay. So, why don't you, if you want to, you can pause the video and try to do this one on your own. But I'll go ahead and do it now. And hopefully maybe you just took a chance to pause it and tried to answer it yourself. So here's what I need. I need 2 things. I need the y-intercept and I need the slope. So in this case, what is the y-intercept? Well, if I start at the origin here, I'm either going to count up or down. Since the line is up from the origin, I'm going to count up. 1, 2, 3. Right? So it's 3 above the origin. So that's b equals positive 3 because it's above the origin. And now I need the slope. So let's see here. So here's an intersection point. There's the origin right there. And if I follow along it, that's not a t-intersection. Oh, there's a t-intersection right there. So there's my second dot. And so to go from this dot to this dot, but don't follow along the line, I have to go either up and over or down and over. In this case, it's down and over because this dot is below this dot. If this dot over here, if the next dot is below the previous dot, then you're going down and over. Okay? So how far down am I going to go? Well, I'm only going down 1. Well, down 1, that means -1. And then I'm going to go over 1, 2. So that's a run of 2. So I have a rise of -1. And I know it's not rising, it's going down, but that's why I'm putting -1. So rise is -1, run is 2, and therefore the slope is m equals -1 over 2, or -1/2. And so now I just write this up. Y equals m is -1/2, -1/2, x plus b, and b is 3, that's positive 3, so plus 3. So this is the equation of that line. Now this is a good opportunity to show you something that actually, did you know that this could also be written as y equals -x over 2 plus 3. See, this x can be multiplied by the 1 in the numerator. X times 1 is x, and we can just put the x inside the fraction. Okay? So this could also be written as y equals -x over 2 plus 3. And this is y equals mx plus b form, interpreting a graph. Okay? Let's see here. All right, so now what if we are given an equation and we have to find, and we have to be able to draw the graph ourselves? Okay, well, let me come up with an equation here. Let's say that the equation is y equals 2x minus 4. 2x minus 4. Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to look at our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. What is m in this case? Well, m is 2. So down here I'm going to say m is 2, right? And b, what's b? Well, normally it's mx plus b, but instead of having a plus here, we have a negative, or we have a minus. That means that that minus belongs to the 4. That means that our b is actually negative 4. So our b is negative 4. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to, first plot the y-intercept. Okay, so we're going to go over here to the y-axis. We're going to go to the origin. B is negative 4, so that means down 4. So we're going to go to negative 4 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to put a dot. Okay? Then from there, from that dot, from the y-intercept, okay, we're going to look at our slope. The slope is 2. Well, this is not a fraction. This doesn't look like rise over run. Or does it? Hang on. Remember that all numbers are fractions. If you have a whole number, it's the same thing as that whole number over 1. So that means that the slope is actually 2 over 1. Rise 2 over 1 run. Okay? So we're going to go up 2, because this is a positive 2, so we're going to go up 2 and forward 1. So from here, we're going to go up 2, 1, 2, and then over 1. And then we're going to put another dot. Once we have 2 dots, we can get a ruler or a straight edge or something, and we can line up those 2 dots. Okay? You can line up those 2 dots, and then just draw a line. And that is the graph of y equals 2x minus 4. Okay? Do you want to try one more? I'll put the equation up there, and then you pause the video and then try it yourself. Okay? All right, so let's see here. I'll erase this. I'm going to erase this. I'll erase this. And then I will erase this. Okay. So now, all right, let's try this one. Let's say our equation is y equals, let's do negative 3x plus 5. Negative 3x plus 5. Okay? You go ahead and pause the video. Take a minute. All right, so now, here's what we're going to do. Hopefully you had a chance to try it. Let's see if this is what you did. What is the b over here, the y-intercept? Is we got plus 5, and because it's plus, because our formula is plus b, right? So the sign didn't change. It's just 5. b is 5. So b equals 5, right? And then we've got our slope. The number that's in front of the x, the m, is negative 3. So that means slope m is negative 3, right? And so now we can turn this into rise over run. It becomes negative 3 over 1. And that means down 3, forward 1, right? Okay, so let's find our y-intercept, which is positive 5. So are we going to go up or down from the origin? Because it's positive 5. So we're going to go up, right? Up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a dot right there. There we go. And now our slope is down 3 over 1. Okay, so down 3, forward 1. Negative 3 over 1. So we're going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Forward 1 right here. Then we're going to line those up. That looks pretty good. And now we're just going to draw a line. And that is the line, that is the graph of y equals negative 3x plus 5. Okay? Now, quick note on slopes. When the slope is negative 3, when it's negative, it's going to, we always read a graph from, well, usually we read a graph from left to right. And if from left to right, the line looks like it's going downhill, okay? It's going down to the right, that's a negative slope. When a line goes up and to the right, that is a positive slope. And so that's when m is a positive number. Now, the other possibility is it might not go up, it might not go down. What if a line goes flat sideways like this? Well, that is said to have a slope of 0. Okay? That's said to have a slope of 0. Neither positive slope nor negative slope. It is a 0 slope. It's flat. Okay? That's all I have for you. Good luck, and I hope you're able to graph those lines.